People that are most susceptible to the coronavirus, flu, colds, or any other type of illness are the ones that have underlying health conditions. But on top of that, the ones that are most stressed are more susceptible to getting sick. I'm sure by now you've had enough of 2020. It's enough to make anybody worn out. The news media, Facebook, it's fatiguing, but it's also stressful at the same time. It's important to remember the impact that this stress will have on your body. You have to unplug from the relentless media and news onslaught that's been 2020. Ultimately, you have control of what you think about. You have control of how you want to respond to this world. You just live your life. It's important to remember that.
Game on, sports fitness and health fans, for another episode of the Sporting Good Posture podcast. Gear up for Coach Margella's advice from the sidelines as he helps you crush your game no matter what health or fitness game you play.
Hey, I'm Coach Margella. I'm sporting good posture. What are you sporting?
The coach's door is always open. Let's join him now. Hey, Coach, what do you got for us today?
Welcome back to another episode of Sporting Good Posture. This is Coach Margella here, and today I want to talk about the fatigue of 2020. I'm sure by now you've had enough of 2020. I sure have. Between the election, coronavirus, and just this crazy world we live in, it's enough to make anybody worn out. But it's important to remember life goes on, and you just got to get up each day and do what you have to do. And you just have to remember that there are more important things in life. Whether or not your candidate won the election is not the issue here. It's about blocking out all the noise between the news media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Honestly, it's fatiguing, but it's also stressful at the same time. This time of year, as we know, is already flu season, and mix in coronavirus and the added stress that people have right now. It's important to remember the impact that this stress will have on your body, your mind, your spirit. It's important to remember you have to unplug from these distractions. You have to unplug from this stress. You have to unplug from the relentless media and news onslaught that's been 2020. As we've seen this year, the people that are most susceptible to the coronavirus, as well as flu, colds, or any other type of illness, are the ones that have underlying health conditions. But on top of that, the ones that are most stressed are more susceptible to getting sick as well. And this is the time of year where we see these problems happen. Already it's flu season, and now you mix that in with the coronavirus, so now you have the double effect. And there's more people just so stressed out that their health is just hanging on by a thread. It's important for you to take control of your day and how you can be the master of your own mind. It's important to not let these negative things in, because the more negative things you let bother you, your mind doesn't know the difference between perception and reality. So whatever you are stressed about, your body's going to go into fight or flight mode. It's going to start getting stressed out, and it's going to affect all the systems in your body. It's important to remember what you do have control of in this world. If you went out and voted, that's the best you can do. There's nothing else that you can really do beyond that. It's really out of your hands at this point. At the end of the day, no matter who is president, no matter who's in office, it really doesn't affect your life as much as you think. Ultimately, you have control of how your day goes. You have control of what you think about. You have control of how you want to respond to this world. And regardless of who's president or who holds office, you just live your life. It's important to remember that. As far as the coronavirus, you have to learn what you need to do to stay healthy in order not to get it. And if you do get it, you want to make sure you're in a healthy position where it's not going to affect you majorly, where you have really complicating factors that make it worse for you. What I've noticed the most this year is with all the distractions, people are putting their health to the back burner. I'm seeing where people are more sick, more stressed, and overall just not taking care of their health. And it's important that you don't forget that, especially this time of year when it starts getting cold out and you already know it's going to be a season where people are more likely to get sick. It's essential that you do the things necessary, even more so at this time of year. With Halloween that just passed, Thanksgiving coming up, and Christmas and New Year, and the cold weather, this is the time of year where you really have to do more for yourself and stay on top of your health so that you don't get sick and that you don't go down that road and gain weight during this holiday season and just kind of get out of your routine even more so. And something I've even noticed more this year is that people are absolutely glued to their cell phones. Everybody I see out there is just constantly head down in their cell phone with the news, with social media. Everybody is just absolutely obsessed with it. On top of that, now everybody's working from home for the most part, and that's contributing to more of these problems as well. Almost everybody that I see in the office now, whether it's a younger kid, a teenager, an adult, have awful posture. There's so many issues that I'm seeing now, TMJ and headaches. But one of the things I wanted to talk about was an important nerve that many people don't always know about. It's called the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve is a nerve that has many branches throughout the top of the body down to the lower half of the body. And it's one of the most important nerves that your body has for many different functions. What I find is that because of this poor posture and because everybody's always on their phone and on computers, we're in that forward position more than we should be. So when you're in that position, you're compromising that nerve. You're misaligning the upper neck, and the nerve comes out of the upper neck, lower head area and goes down your neck into your lower body. And the vagus nerve is one of the most important nerves because it has a few major functions that I want to talk about today. Number one is your breathing. So if you think about it, if you're in that forward position, you're hunched over and you're leaning forward and that nerve is pinched, now that nerve can't get down into your upper body there where your lungs are. So you're not going to be breathing as well as you should, not only because of your poor posture, but the nerve can't go through the lungs to supply the lungs with the energy it needs to do what it's supposed to do. On top of that, that nerve also regulates your heart and your blood pressure. So if you're blocking that nerve in your upper neck and it's going down, it's not getting to your heart, you're going to have more problems with blood pressure issues. You're going to have more problems with irregular heartbeats, things like that happen when that nerve gets pinched, and you're not going to be able to have the normal rhythm that you're supposed to have. And the third thing that I find the most important is that nerve affects your digestion as well as your metabolism. So when people are having struggles with losing weight and keeping it off, what I find is they're always in that forward head posture position. And that forward head posture now affects your metabolism and your ability to digest food because it innervates so many organs in the lower half of your body that if you don't have that freedom for that nerve to go through there, it's going to mess up your metabolism, it's going to slow it down, and you're going to have that weight gain again. So it's important as far as a lot of the lipolaser patients I have, I always see how their posture is. I always do a little exam with them and a little history with them and see what the problem has been, because typically their weight loss has gone up and down over the years. And I'm sure you've had that same problem as well, where you lose it, you gain it, you lose it. And there's times where you're up, there's times where you're down, but overall you never seem to get down to where your ideal weight should be. And one of the biggest factors I see in that is posture. So when your posture is forward, when your posture is slumped over, when you're constantly on your phone, you're constantly on your computer, and you're in that forward head posture position, you've now compromised that vagus nerve. And again, if it doesn't go down through there, it's affecting your blood pressure, your heart rate, your breathing, and also your metabolism. So this is vital as far as learning what to do to figure out if that's an issue for you. And one of the ways you can tell on that is basically just going in the mirror. You can kind of tell how your body is, as well as if somebody just took a picture of you, you could really see what's going on with your posture. If you feel like you're imbalanced, if you feel like something's not quite right, if you look in the mirror and you see one shoulder higher than the other, if you see one hip higher than the other, if you notice that your feet turn in or your knees turn in, these are the kind of things you want to pay attention to and see if it compromises your vagus nerve. Remember, your body is like a building, and your feet are like the base of the building, and you want to have a good foundation so that the upper half and the upper parts of your body are going to be in alignment. You want to make sure that your head is not forward or off to the side, because it's pinching nerves and it's compromising your posture, and it's creating imbalances that are affecting the nerve flow throughout your body. In this case, again, it's going to affect heart rate, metabolism, blood pressure, breathing, but also it's going to greatly affect your sleep. It's going to greatly affect your balance and also just your mood in general. Whenever you compromise the nerves in your neck and your head, it's going to greatly affect many of the things that go on through the day as far as your posture is concerned. So ask yourself a question. If you had to rate yourself, what rating would you give yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 for how you handled 2020? A 5, an 8, a 10? And why would you rate yourself with those numbers? If you gave yourself a low grade, what can you do better before the year is over and into 2021 to not make the same mistakes that you did this year? What have you learned this year about your reactions to mainstream media, to social media, to the election, to just how you interact with people, and also your daily routine of what you do getting up in the morning and what you do to go to bed at night? If you rated yourself really less than an 8, there's a lot of improvement that needs to be done. And it's important that you start this now, before it really gets into the deeper season of cold and flu and more coronavirus. It's important to realize that you need to take control. You need to set up a good game plan so that you're in control and you take charge of what's going on in your mind and in your body. And this reminds me of one of my favorite TV shows, Seinfeld. And a specific episode was called Opposite George. And in this episode, basically, Jerry suggested to George that if he just did the opposite of everything else that he had done in the past, that if he had been wrong before, that the opposite would have to be right. So in the episode, George does the complete opposite of everything he was doing beforehand, and he was seeing changes, and he was being more successful in life. He was getting better jobs, better women, all the things that he wanted to do, and he was able to do that because he was doing the opposite. So my plea to you for the end of 2020 and the beginning of 2021 is if you graded yourself low, then just do the opposite. And it's very simple to flip the script. Think of whatever it is that you come across and just say, is this going to put me in the direction of success, or is this going to take me away from success? And everything you come across, whether it's on social media, whether it's at work, whether it's with your family, whatever it is, just think to yourself, is this going to help me in a positive way, or is this going to take away from my goals? Keep that in mind and make every decision going forward according to how your gut feels, if you feel like that's going to really move you in the direction of success. Now, I know in theory this sounds easy to say and much harder to do, so I'm here for you. I do these podcast episodes to really help you recognize what's going on in your life, what's going on health-wise, relationship-wise, mind-wise, whatever's going on with your body and your mind, just to realize there's somebody out there that can help. Reach out to me, DM me at Sporting Good Posture, tell me what's going on, and I'll tell you what I think. I'm here to help you get through 2020 and get into 2021 the best version of yourself. Remember, the coach's door is always open. This is Coach Margella. I'm Sporting Good Posture. How about you?
The Sporting Good Posture Podcast is a broadcast wellness production powered by Ideal Health Wellness Center. All content copyright 2020, all rights reserved. Executive producer, Frank Sardella. Dr. Margella appears courtesy of Ideal Health Wellness Center in Franklin. For more information, visit sportinggoodposture.com and follow Coach on Instagram at Sporting Good Posture.